Queen Camilla has long lived in the public imagination as a figure surrounded by glittering banquets, silver service, and elaborate cuisine. Yet behind the polished image lies a woman whose approach to food is far more grounded than most would expect. She is not driven by luxury for its own sake, nor by the pressure to indulge in extravagance simply because of her position. Instead, her choices reflect something quieter, more enduring: habit, comfort, and a deeply personal sense of authenticity. There is a certain calm confidence in the way she approaches her meals. She does not chase trends, nor does she bend to expectations. Her preferences are shaped by years spent in the countryside, by an appreciation for simple ingredients, and by an understanding that food, at its best, should nourish rather than impress. And so, while the world may picture royal tables filled with excess, her reality is defined by restraint and intention. This becomes even clearer when one looks at what she quietly refuses to eat. These are not arbitrary dislikes or passing whims. Each choice reveals a principle, sometimes practical, sometimes personal, but always consistent. And as we begin to uncover them, a portrait emerges not just of a queen, but of a woman who has never felt the need to pretend. One of the most telling aspects of Queen Camilla's preferences is her complete avoidance of spicy food. It is not a matter of trend or curiosity, she simply does not tolerate it. In a world where bold flavors are often celebrated, her palate remains firmly traditional. This is less about limitation and more about practicality. Long public engagements demand composure, and anything that disrupts that balance has no place at her table. A similar discipline governs her approach to garlic. During official duties, it is entirely off limits. This is not about disliking flavor, but about respect, an understanding that close interactions with people require a certain level of consideration. It is a quiet sacrifice, rarely noticed, yet consistently upheld. Then there is her refusal to take risks with raw shellfish. While others might indulge in oysters or clams, she chooses certainty over indulgence. The reasoning is simple: her role does not allow for unpredictability. A single misstep could disrupt an entire schedule, affecting not just her, but countless others. Even her rejection of organ meats speaks to this balance between tradition and personal comfort. Though such dishes have long been part of British culinary heritage, she does not force herself to embrace them. Taste, for her, is not about obligation. It is about enjoyment, and she sees no reason to compromise on that. If there is one defining thread in Queen Camilla's approach to food, it is her commitment to simplicity. She avoids overly complicated dishes, not out of ignorance, but out of preference. Food, in her view, should be understood at a glance. It should not require explanation, nor should it rely on theatrics to be appreciated. This philosophy extends naturally into her dedication to seasonal produce. As someone deeply connected to gardening, she values ingredients at their natural peak. Out-of-season fruits and vegetables, often transported across great distances, hold little appeal for her. They lack the flavor, the freshness, and the integrity she believes food should possess. There is also a quiet practicality in her avoidance of heavy pasta dinners. Evenings, for her, are not a time for indulgence that lingers, but for meals that allow the body to remain light and active. It is a rhythm shaped not by restriction, but by awareness, an understanding of what sustains energy rather than diminishes it. In all of this, there is no sense of denial. Instead, there is clarity. She knows what works for her, and she adheres to it without apology. Beyond preference, Queen Camilla's choices also reflect a deeper set of values. Her refusal to consume factory-farmed meat is not simply about taste, it is about ethics. She places importance on knowing where her food comes from, on supporting practices that align with her beliefs about animal welfare and environmental responsibility. This same sense of restraint appears in her attitude toward desserts. She does not gravitate toward excessive sweetness or elaborate confections. Instead, she prefers balance, flavors that are subtle, measured, and honest. There is a quiet elegance in this approach, one that favors quality over spectacle. Perhaps most striking, however, is her rejection of modern diet fads. In an age obsessed with reinvention, where foods are constantly modified, replaced, or stripped down, she remains unmoved. She does not seek alternatives to traditional ingredients, nor does she subscribe to the idea that health must come at the cost of enjoyment. For her, the answer has always been simpler: eat well, eat moderately, and remain active. It is a philosophy that does not demand attention, yet speaks volumes in its consistency. Taken together, these choices reveal something far more significant than dietary preference. They reveal character. Queen Camilla's approach to food mirrors the way she has lived her life: steadfast, unpretentious, and quietly self-assured. In a world that often rewards spectacle, she has chosen substance. Where others might adapt to fit expectations, she has remained unchanged, guided by her own understanding of what matters. This is not resistance for the sake of it, but a natural extension of who she has always been. Her table, though royal, is not defined by excess. It is defined by intention. Every refusal, every preference, carries with it a sense of clarity, a refusal to compromise authenticity in favor of appearance. And perhaps that is what makes her story resonate. Not the grandeur, not the titles, but the simplicity of a woman who, even at the height of public life, continues to choose what feels true.